My name is Bradner with the Florida Aviation Network. We are broadcasting live and in the clear from the terminal building at Sebring Regional Airport, where we are celebrating the 14th annual Sport Aviation Expo. We are flying into the future, and I am so excited today. I'm here with my other host, one of the other hosts of Florida Aviation Network. John, it is such a pleasure to have you here today, and I cannot wait to find out what you did yesterday. John, I hear it was just an awesome day at the 14th annual Sebring EXPO, Aviation Expo. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, Lori. It was great to be here with all the vendors and the talent. We met so many interesting people, and it was a great day. Certainly a beautiful end of January Florida day. A lot of wind, a little bit of a challenge for some of the pilots that were flying, and so we had some fun with that. If you're a pilot, you know that's actually a day you kind of look forward to. Then the vendors have been having a great time talking with customers and people who are building and buying airplanes, and you know there's such a great scene out here. We've got the drones next door. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but this is the second year that they're racing with the multi-rotor Grand Prix. So they've already set some records, and I talked to those guys. We had a great list of people that we were interviewing. So yes, it certainly was a fantastic day.
How were the crowds yesterday? Because yesterday was the first day.
First day, Thursday, so a little bit of a start to the show. But
Okay.
you know, we're expecting a big crowd, and it's certainly a fun family event. People come down with little kids, big kids. Everybody's a little kid when they get here, but you know, generally the students are going to be interested in something, especially with the YAS program that's here.
Yep.
And the lectures that are happening with Youth Aviation Zone. Fantastic program there. We talked with Melissa Gauthier. She was speaking there from the Tampa Airport Authority there in the Hillsborough County Airport. She was talking about other aviation opportunities. A lot of people think pilots and airplanes, and that's really their focus. But no, there's so much support going on, and that's what's happening here all over the field, up and down the flight line, not just flying and airplanes and airmen and women, but all kinds of vendors and support staff. It's just been a great scene.
And I understand, as you were saying, John, not only just airplanes and pilots, but I understand that you had an opportunity to speak to one of my favorite people of all time, Eugene Knock.
Eugene Knock.
And he brought the Batmobile here.
With his son, George.
With his son, George. Awesome. How was that? Because that truly is from 2 to 92. There is something here for everyone, which is absolutely fabulous.
I agree.
So you must tell me, how was Eugene, and did you get to see the Batmobile?
Well, we did. We have some footage, and we showed that during this display. And Eugene is a great guy, very well known in the air show field. And I tell you, when he comes in the Batcopter, there's nothing, you know, there might as well not be anything else in the sky. He talked about coming here at Sebring, the raceway, as well as the airfield here at Hendricks Field, Sebring Regional Airport. You know, and he comes in from the west, he says, and he looks down and he sees the racetrack, and he's looking at that whole thing, and you know, he wanted to race some of the cars in the Batcopter. I thought, well, you brought George with the car, why don't you put the Batmobile down onto the track? And so we talked about that with George, and so we had a lot of fun with those guys, and so they put on a great show. They're going to do that again today. Yep. So
Fabulous.
We'll see
Now,
them soon.
Did you get to sit in the Batmobile?
No, but I did you know, get to sit next to the guy who drove it.
That's all. Well, you know what? That's the second best thing. Why
Right.
not? Absolutely. Now, tell me some of the other people that you had an opportunity. John, I know that you were out and about with the crowd, but can you tell me about some of the other guests that you had on? Because we have definitely got a full schedule today. You and I, we're going to be working hard today. Some wonderful guests coming on. Steve McCaughey from the Seaplane Association,
That's
who's
right.
one of my favorites.
Me
I always
too.
see him at Sun and Fun. And Phil Lockwood is here. So, and I know that you know him personally.
This is home base.
Talk about someone with one of the pioneers
Extensive background.
of the ultralight, as you said. But yesterday, I didn't have the pleasure of being here. I was working.
Oh, well.
I was one of those working people. Tell me a little bit about who you interviewed. Who were some of the other people you talked to?
Well, we started out with John Zapp. John's the flying musicians, and you always see him around entertaining at the shows that we do broadcasts, and that's a lot of fun to hang out with him. So if you're a pilot and you happen to be a musician too, there's basically an opportunity for you to jam or hang out with other like-minded folk, and so it was great to see John. We also had David St. George, who was with the SAFE. That's the Society of Aviation and Flight Educators. So that speaks to something that's near and dear to your and my heart, and that's education. As instructors and with you and your doctorate in education, we always look towards sort of carrying the flag and leading the line and bringing people along with some of the techniques and technologies of flight and safety education in aviation.
Well, and that's really what we do here too, because that's the crux of our mission, as you know, for the Florida Aviation Network, is not only promoting aviation, but also promoting safety in aviation, which is key. So that sounds wonderful.
Well, don't forget, and speaking to that, the Florida Aviation Network is a project of the National Aviation Safety Foundation.
That's right.
And so we are broadcasting live and in the clear over the networks and on the internet so that we can bring the message of flight safety and flight education. So I'm with you there. That's what we're about.
That's
and
awesome.
Additionally, we talked about the Knock family. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And of course, AOPA was here represented by Jamie Beckett. Of course, you love Jamie, right?
Beckett. Oh,
and I know
my
Jamie,
goodness, I know Jamie Beckett, and I bet you had fun with that one.
Well,
didn't you,
Jamie's a
John?
friend, and then his boss, Les.
Yes.
Les was my student. I taught Les to fly. So back in the day, we go way back, and it's fun to see that sort of circle around, full circle, to see your friends taking the lead and jumping into the general
That was
aviation.
like old home week for you.
It is, and it's funny to be sitting here interviewing them. It's just great to see them climbing the ladder of success. And AOPA's had a banner year. They've got a beautiful new facility up in Frederick, Maryland. They've developed this basically an academy where they've got a sort of a lecture hall there that they can host these events now with 400 people and a full media suite and everything. So they're going to produce some really good content with the message that we're trying to promote, and that's safety and flight education.
And if I'm correct, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I know that Jamie has been doing a tremendous amount of work in Winter Haven and in the Central Florida, working with the flying clubs, really to promote aviation among young people, and really promoting that aviation education and helping young people experience flight.
It's going real well, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Okay.
He's what they call an ambassador.
Yes.
So
yes.
not with the State Department, but with the AOPA, and as an ambassador to the Southeast region, Jamie does put on those programs and fly-ins, and so they've got 3 different pigeonhole things that they do, and one is the flying club, the other is the education, and then just getting people out and into actual aircraft and reintroducing the to the rusty pilots. That's the third one there.
He does a lot of teaching as well, so he's near and dear to our heart, because I understand that he does some of the education, the actual teaching.
Well, that's a great segue to my other guest, and that was
I didn't even know.
Ed Comiskey was here with us. Do you know Ed? Ed's with the flight training professionals. He is the owner of a flight school at Orlando Executive Airport.
Wow.
And so we always see Ed around. And Ed's big thing this year is he's the flight instructor of the year for the
I saw
Orlando
the
FISTA.
pictures.
So
yes,
we're very proud
did.
of our friend. And so congratulations to him and his staff and all the folks at Flight Training Professionals. They're doing a great job, led by Ed Comiskey.
Now,
so,
how many years has he been flying, may I ask? Did he tell
it was,
you that, John?
Do you remember? 38, I think is. So, this is a guy who, not everybody's going to go to the airlines. A lot of people think pilots and you're going to get your license and go on like that. But no, there's so much more to flight training, and then moving into professional aviation on the general aviation side. with actually having a career as a flight instructor and running a flight school if that's what you're up to, but actually being in the business of flight training and training safety and bringing up the next generation of pilots. It's been great meeting those guys and certainly being with Ed Kaminsky. And, again, speaking to the future of aviation with these up-and-coming techniques and technologies and training, boy, I'll tell you, the future was the drones. And we're right next to the racing track right next door, and watching those things go around, it was unbelievable. You got to check that out.
No, I definitely want to, and I think they stopped by this morning and they asked to come back, if not today, tomorrow.
Good, let's get them on.
Which is fabulous. And I can tell you, being a classroom teacher, that certainly is something that's of interest of children of all ages, from the elementary school to the middle school to the high school students. And it's amazing what they know, and it's amazing what the drones can do now. And just I cannot wait to get out there and actually. Have you ever flown one,
Oh,
John?
yeah, I'm well adept at it.
How did you do, John?
Well, I've been building drones for many years now.
Okay,
yeah,
so you're an expert.
It was great to talk to them, and I'm right there with them. I've built my first drone and had to program the entire thing, and you didn't buy a kit and you couldn't buy one commercially. So I've been watching that scene for a long time, and I have several racing drones too. So I was able to speak right up there with those racing guys, and it was funny because they had no concept that anybody else would know about that. But they are this is pro level, not just these aren't toys. These guys are smoking along at about 30 G's. If it was a real airplane, it'd be a 30 G. No human could take those kind of forces for the types that they're enduring. The speeds are up to 80, 90 miles per hour. They're going over a course in 3 dimensions that would just boggle your mind. So you got to go out there and check it out. It's a lot of fun. But let's jump back to the point you made, was the STEM technology that routes back through when people are learning about that. They're learning about mechanical issues with building one. They're learning about the computer issues with the interfaces that talk to these computer chips that you're sticking on there. And they're learning about aerodynamics and flight dynamics and things like that. And so there's a real broad array of educational opportunities for people who are going to get into it. Even if you're not successful, going down that road has opened up a lot of opportunity and a lot of understanding. For me, I wish my math teacher had applied geometry and trigonometry to aviation, because I would have said, oh, why didn't you say so?
I got it.
I finally get it. I finally get the context.
And it takes it. What it does is exactly that. It takes the context and it makes it a reality, and it allows the students to apply what they're learning. Now, let me ask you, when they spoke, were they able, because one of the things that we always talk when we deal with students in STEM education are the regulations and the FAA regulations. It's always not only important for safety, but the rules in the air. Were they able to speak to that when you spoke to them?
Well,
Did
it's
they talk
interesting.
a little bit about
that? They weren't so much up on the regulation as part of their presentation, but what this was about was to create a league that allowed for the structure and the context, as it were, to take your drone that you've just built and actually go out there and be on a racetrack, be around other like-minded people, understand those regulations and the rules, and then apply that into a race course and be able to go up against other people. And so they were coming at it from the standpoint of, hey, let's make it so that there's a stepping stones, these ladder rungs that you can jump through as we go through and progress on these races. This is the first race in a series of 8 races worldwide, not just nationally, but these guys are, this is race number 1. It sets up for the entire thing. And a lot of our viewers have probably seen the DRL, the Drone Racing League. That's been the most popular because it's been on TV, but this is where it all starts. This is actually race number 1 for them. So
now, where are they going? Do you remember? And I'm here. I'm picking your brain. I wonder where they're heading next.
I wish I knew.
It's worldwide.
I'm just so proud to have them here at Sebring, here at the regional airport here, and during this show, and it's been a huge success for them. So they're very pleased with the way that this has turned out. We're super pleased to have them, and certainly talk with them because they're very interesting. and it really is the future. And that's our theme here, is that we're flying into the future here with the expo.
That's right. And it's interesting because some of the high school students that I've taught, and even some of the young people here, more and more we're going to the unmanned aircraft. And even if you go into the military, if that's your choice, they're doing more with that. And that's drones and drone flying.
Yes.
So, I mean, this truly is the future of flying, which is amazing. And it is so
amazing. I agree.
Exciting.
Yeah.
And were you able to go out and actually get some footage of them flying and the races?
I couldn't even pick up the camera because my jaw was on the floor. I stood next to the racetrack over there and just had it was as much as I could do just to be in awe of where things are and how they were operating at a really nice outfit, really safe scenario there. They've got spotters and they've really done a great job. There's a little pit crew for all these people to come in and sit and watch what's happening and be hands-on. Lori, you and I, we've got to go out there and interview them directly.
Okay.
And we'll and it's first-person video too. Do you know about that?
Yes.
Right. So you don't even look at it. You're not even watching it like when I learned to fly radio control.
Right.
You've got a set of goggles on and your head's in a virtual reality, but it's real time.
And I tell you what, that is just so exciting. That is awesome. And I know that we've got a great lineup today, and we're seeing the crowds coming in
Definitely.
to the terminal building here, coming through. And
we just heard someone's mascot. The little pup came through.
You heard that too?
I know.
Okay. And it's just, I tell you what, John, it is going to be such an exciting day here at the 14th annual Sebring Aviation Expo.
Glad to be here with you, and we're going to interview some great folks. We're going to have a lot of fun right along with our viewers.
Absolutely, and we're going to talk to our producers because, John, we're going to get out there.
Oh,
we're going to go see those drones.
Yep, we're taking the crew with us.
Footage.
Yeah,
we're taking the crew. Let's do it.
Come join us.
Well, that is fantastic, and it looks like it's going to be a gorgeous day. From what I hear, I heard that the winds aren't going to be quite as lofty.
Well, it was something
yesterday.
We had somebody walked in and said they were gusting to 40 knots, and I couldn't believe that some of the light sport could handle that as well as they could. The piloting out there was amazing. One of the things flying into the future, let me tell you, I saw an electric airplane fly, and that was just, I couldn't get over how beautiful this machine was. The technology that's been developed to get this far with silent flight. And I'm not talking about gliders. I'm talking about a beautiful single engine that was cruising along just as good as any other aircraft. And so we got to check that out together as well.
We will. John, well, I tell you what, my name is Lori, and this is John, and we're hosts with the Florida Aviation Network. We are here at the 14th annual Sebring Aviation Expo and with Sport Expo. We are so excited to have you here, and we look forward to seeing you today. It's going to be a beautiful day at the Sebring Regional Airport. Thank you so much, John. It was great talking to you, and we're going to have a great day here today.
We sure are.
And
Thanks.
we are broadcasting to the Florida Aviation Network. We are broadcasting live and in the clear from Sebring Regional Airport. We look forward to seeing you.